Welcome to ATR Powerslam, Above the Rings exclusive YouTube show coming to you to provide all your wrestling results for the week ending in 5/27/2023 with a 15-minute time limit. We're your hosts, the SLB and Scott, with John the Statman on assignment. Before we begin, please make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. We're going to kick things off with Scott for Monday Night Raw.
All right, this is for the Raw before Night of Champions. Yes, I know by the time this drops, Night of Champions has already happened, but we will talk about that at length during our post show, which will be happening at some point this week. So stay tuned for that. But for the Raw before, we started things off pretty hot, actually, with Brock Lesnar coming out of nowhere to attack Cody Rhodes as he was making his way into the building, throwing a keg at his arm. And yeah, that turned into a developing storyline as the show went on. After that, we had, of course, Paul Heyman come out and do his thing, talking about how Night of Champions and Roman will be, a quad champion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We then also had Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Matt Riddle coming out, brawling with Imperium, setting up a match later on. We had Bronson Reed take on and defeat Ricochet, continuing their fight from the number one contendership battle royal. We continued talking about Seth Rollins' pedigree in the continuing interviews that have been happening over the past couple of weeks between Corey Graves and himself. We had Zoe Stark get a big victory over Candice LeRae. And then Brock Lesnar once again attacking Cody Rhodes in the ring, locking him in the Kimura lock, already with his arm being damaged as it was. We did actually find out later on that it was indeed broken, but Cody didn't want anybody to look at it because he was not going to miss Night of Champions. We had a big victory from the Alpha Academy over the Viking Raiders. Finn Balor and Shinsuke Nakamura had another classic match with Finn actually getting the win, of course, thanks to the Judgment Day. So hopefully that continues going forward. We had Raquel Rodriguez getting a big victory over Sonya Deville. And then we had the contract signing for the women's match at Night of Champions, Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. And boy, who did we have some fire promos coming out of both of these two ladies, with Becky Lynch actually mentioning the barking incident with Trish way back in the Attitude Era, which kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't think Becky would go that far, but hey, it is what it is. Dominic Mysterio getting a big victory over Apollo Crews. Mommy getting involved, of course. So we're going to keep Dom on the up and up. And then in your main event, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Matt Riddle defeated all of Imperium. But the lasting shot was really what mattered the most here. Cody kicking everybody out of his locker room because he wanted nobody, not even the doctors, to look at his arm because he was not missing anything. But Papa H himself comes in, has a little chat with him, and Cody's like, "What would you have done if you were in my position?" And Triple H just looks at him and just smiles. So it's like, all right, we see what's going on here. So that was Raw. Roll into NXT. The last show before Battleground, which your boy himself is actually going to be attending after doing this recording. So I got a nice long drive ahead of me, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about this show tonight. Your semifinals matches. Lyra Valkyria defeating Cora Jade to advance to the finals. We had Davokeda with a dominating performance over Axiom. Tyler Bate getting the victory over the previously undefeated Eddie Thorpe. Nathan Frazier beating up on Noam Dar, going into the Heritage Cup as of today. Hank Walker and Tank Ledger, two gentlemen in the tag team going one-on-one to strengthen their bond. This was an interesting match. I don't really know how I feel about these two yet, but Hank Walker getting the victory. We had Von Wagner in a match versus Luca Cristofino. I'm going to butcher this. He's a new superstar, also a lawyer. It was very interesting. But Luca actually gets the win via disqualification because Von Wagner could not control his temper. And I hate to say this, but I'm actually kind of getting invested in Von Wagner now, and I don't know what's wrong with me. And our main event, Tiffany Stratton qualifying and reaching the finals with a big victory over Roxanne Perez. So, like I said, NXT Battleground tonight. I'll kick it over to Sam so we can talk about some AEW Impact and ROH.
Yeah, a lot going on this week. Obviously, not just WWE, but AEW. We got the go home show for Double or Nothing, which is tonight. Opening the night on Wednesday, obviously, none other than Orange Cassidy himself taking on and retaining his AEW International Championship against Kyle Fletcher, which I would like to mention that Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. Ethan's gonna be on my ass about this, but either way, Aussie Open is all elite. After that, we did hear from FTR going into the tag match against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. We had the House of Black defeat Blake Christian, AR Fox, and Grand Metalik. We had another Four Pillars promo again. Taya Valkyrie going into the TBS championship, taking on defeating Lady Frost. Good to see Lady Frost on Dynamite. I hope we get to see a little more of her in the women's division going forward.
Indeed.
We had the contract signing between probably two of the best promo workers in the game, Chris Jericho and Adam Cole, with a shocking reveal that we will have a special enforcer, the ECW legend Sabu. Roderick Strong took on defeated Daniel Garcia. And I believe in the main event, we had the Lucha Bros take on and defeat Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. But anyways, we're going to hop over to the Honor Club. Sorry, the Ring of Honor on Honor Club. Episode 14 already. Wow, the Kingdom taking on defeating the Infantry. Sky Blue taking on defeating Trish Adora. Stu Grayson and the Righteous defeating the Dark Order. Kind of curious what's going on over there.
Right.
Brian Cage taking on defeating Willie Mack. Kip Sabian, the Butcher and the Blade taking on and defeating Bryce Saturn, Jacob Austin Young, and Shogun Jones. We had an NJPW World Television title match. Zack Sabre Jr. retaining against Rocky Romero. Diamante defeated Promise Braxton. Action Andretti and Darius Martin taking on defeating the Workhorsemen. Bandito El Hijo del Viquino and Commander taking on defeated the Spanish announced Project and Jack Cartwheel. It was a Ring of Honor pure title match with Katsuri Shibata taking on defeating Alex Coughlin. And then the main event, women's world title match, Athena taking on defeating Kira Hogan. I'm going to pass it back over to Scott for the go-home show for Night of Champions SmackDown episode.
All right, kicking off this match, it was definitely fight night right off the rip. Austin Theory taking on and actually defeating Sheamus, but of course some shenanigans with Pretty Deadly coming out, attacking Butch and Ridge Holland, distracting Sheamus enough for Theory to get the victory. We had Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi defeat Bayley and Io Sky. Shotzi being Raquel's new tag team partner that will take place in the Fatal 4-Way tag match on Monday to determine the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. We had Cameron Grimes once again going to the moon, getting a big victory over Ashanti Theodonis. We had another brawl between Asuka and Bianca Belair. Man, can't wait to talk about that match at Night of Champions. LA Knight getting a big victory over his now former tag team partner, Rick Boogs. And we had AJ Styles beating up on Karrion Kross, getting the big victory there. And then we had the KO show to finish this show off. As much as I love New Day and the Usos going back and forth on a promo off, this was equally as entertaining. The Usos coming out stating that they are the number one tag team, and Jimmy Uso himself referencing himself as the tribal chief of the tag team division, which of course had Roman come out, Roman doing his stare off with both the boys, knocking their mics out of their hands. Sammy tries to say something. He knocks Sammy's mic out, and then KO's like, I've had enough of this shit. Turns around, Roman around, drops a nice stunner on him, and then it's just Bedlam. And Sam, we all know how much we love Bedlam in wrestling.
Oh, we love Bedlam.
So yeah, the whole thing ended up with Solo Sikoa coming out, giving the nice spike to both KO and Sammy, leaving them laying, and then the drama between the tag titles being picked up by the Usos, and Jay presenting his to his brother Solo, and then Jimmy not wanting to give them to Roman, Jay having to take them from him to give it to Roman. And then, of course, they stand to do the whole bloodlines you acknowledge, but Jimmy's standing in the back, just kind of staring at the whole thing. I'm like, something's going to happen in Night of Champions. And like I said, we'll talk about that during the post show. But yeah, that's it for the WWE side of things. I'll kick it over to Sam. We'll talk Rampage and we'll wrap this baby up.
Wrapping it up, we had a late Rampage this weekend with Billy Gunn and the Acclaim take on defeating La Faction Ingobernables. We had the Guns and Ethan Page. I don't know. I'm assuming this was a squash. Going into Double or Nothing. Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida take on defeating Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir. And in the main event, we had Big Bill and Lee Moriarty getting a W over the Best Friends. That is your week in wrestling, guys. So don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. And do not forget to join the Bedlam.